So, we're gonna get started. What you see in front of you is the mini box, all of the cards in the newest, all of the super rare, ultra rare, and rare cards in the newest mini box that just got leaked today. We don't have a name for it yet. It's just called number 34. It's got a lot of synchro support. I don't like synchro summoning. It takes too much math. However, as a content creator, I feel obligated to at the very least go through and give my opinions on the cards on an individual basis. So that's what we're gonna do today. So let's get started. The very first card we have up is Buddy over here, right? We have Buddy over here. His name is Blackwing Armor Master. Now, what do you say? It's a it takes one Blackwing tuner or one or more non-tuner monsters. Cannot be destroyed by battle, so it has some protection, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. This card has 2,500 attack, which is decent. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked a monster, you can place one wedge counter on that monster. You can remove all wedge counters from your opponent's monsters. The attack and defense of the monsters that had wedge counters becomes 0 until the end of this turn. That's actually not that's not good. I think I get what you're supposed to do with this card. So you're supposed to synchro summon this card, attack into a monster that's bigger than you, not get destroyed by battle. Then on the next turn, your next turn, which means you have to wait to a whole nother turn if I'm not mistaken, because that doesn't say quick effect. Right? At the end of the damage step, you can place one wedge counter. You can remove all, that's not a quick effect. So that means during your next turn, you can then make the attack of the monster that you hit 0. But if that monster has left the field in any way, shape, or form, then that was a completely useless effect. I don't like this card. I think we're starting off in C tier. What do you think? Right? Full Armor Master is better. No. S. Yes. C. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of conflicted opinions. I've seen a C. I've seen an S. You say C tier, B tier, average deck, and above average synchro, but there is better. It can't be destroyed by battle, and it doesn't take damage. It doesn't. Yeah, C is good, right? C is good because like you're right. It doesn't take battle damage, which is decent, I guess. It can't be destroyed by battle, but it can be karma cut. And for its effect to actually work, it has to survive your opponent's next turn. And the monster that your opponent, because like if I've been affected by this card, all that I'm going to do is like fusion someone with the card or synchro someone with the card or put the card in defense position if I've read what your card does. All I have to do is put myself in defense position and your effect is now meaningless. So that card goes in C. That card absolutely goes in C. I was gonna put it in D, but it's Blackwing support, and you love to see Blackwing support. I believe Chris King of Games, he wants Blackwing support, and I support that. So that's what it is. Battle effects aren't great, so I'm gonna put that in C. We're gonna move on. The next card up is Red Nova Dragon. What does Red Nova Dragon say? Wait, this monster takes 2 tuners to summon? Okay, that's already iffy. That's already, because I already don't like tuners for the math involved. Now you want me to get 2 out. This card gains 500 attack for each tuner monster. Oh, so this card, in reality, this card doesn't have 3,500 attack. This card has 4,500 attack at a minimum, because if you're using 2 tuners to bring it out, it automatically gains 1,000 attack. Cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. Oh. Okay, so it can't be destroyed by card effects, fair enough. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target the attacking monster, banish this card, and if you do, negate the attack, but the monster is still there during the next end phase. Special summon this card, banished by... That is ass. That is some booty cheeks. What? That's garbage, bro. That's some hot garbage. What do you mean? Why is this in the box? Why is this a UR in a box? Red Nova is a super meme. I agree. C tier as well. I agree. Terrible. This card will probably get played by TGs. Fair enough, but still, it counters Fire Kings. That's all. Countering Fire Kings isn't enough for me to like you. That's not enough for me to like you. C tier. I say D tier. D tier. Too high of a cost. True, right, because the effect is mid and it takes 2 tuner monsters. It takes 2 tuner monsters with a mid effect. Nah, that's D tier. That's D tier. This card most definitely belongs in D tier in my opinion. That is a disgusting UR in my opinion. If it wasn't in a mini box and that was still a UR, I would be mad. I would be mad at that card. That's a D tier card, all right? So let's see what else is up. What's the next card? TG Wonder Magician. All right, let's check it out. 1 tuner monster one non-tuner TG monster. That's not bad in the slightest. This card is already in the game, but you can only gain access to this card by using the skill, which was mid at best. I don't really understand this, because if the skill basically gives you like a 14 card extra deck, I would personally still make use of the skill anyway, even with this card having access to it, right? Maybe I don't understand TGs well enough, but like, I already had access to this card for free. I would have rather gotten a brand new TG card rather than a dupe of something that is already in the deck effectively, right? So like just based on that alone, I haven't read the effect of the card, but based on the fact that like I don't need to get this card. This card is basically redundant to me. That hurts it in my eyes. Sanhyo says solid A tier. Simply says this is a bad box so far. Agreed. B, since it's locked in archetype. Fair enough. B tier for what deck it's in. Yeah. Let's see, what do you actually say? If this card is synchro summon, target one spell and trap on the field, destroy it, fair enough. If this card on the field is destroyed, draw one card, that's nice. Once per chain, during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, and so it's a quick effect synchro summon, right? Exactly. So it's a card that we already have. I do like its effect because I want to think about how good it is in the archetype that it's supposed to support, and from within the archetype it's supposed to support, it's a good card. It's just a good card that we already have, but it's been pointed out that they have another skill that they can use. So maybe if you're not using the skill that gives you this card, it's actually quite useful. So I'm willing to give this an A tier. I definitely wouldn't give it an S, but I'm willing to give this an A tier, right? I feel like an A tier is fair. Okay, so those are all the URs because, like we said, it's a mini box. Let's check out let's check out some of the SRs, right? Ally of Justice Castor. I like this card. I actually if this card was in a better mini box, I would go after it. This is the Blue Eyes counter that everyone was waiting for, right? This is what we wanted. It's a level 5 synchro monster, one tuner, one non-tuner, so it's a generic card. Can go into any deck you want to put it in. At the start of the damage step, if this card battled a face-up non-dark monster, so any monster in the game that is not dark, destroy that monster. Non-targeted destruction for any non-dark monster in the game. This is the best card in the box, in my opinion. This is the card that should have been a UR 6 Sam support. Right, because it's level 5. 6 Sams can make this if they need it. Like any deck that can. The only problem is there aren't that many decks that make level 5 synchros. But like that, in my opinion, this card's effect is good enough that it doesn't matter, because this card would counter Blue Eyes. If Noble Knights were a thing, it would counter Noble Knights. This would counter this counters Harpies. This counters literally everything that isn't dark. It counters everything. It's so damn good, and I'm so sorry for it that it's in such a garbage box. I am so sorry that this is in such a garbage box. I feel like I want this to be the first S tier. I feel like this should be the first S tier that we have at our disposal. I like this card. This, in my opinion, should be one of the URs in the box. Because it's a mini box, there's no real difference between URs and SRs, but like it's just more meaningful. It's a symbolism, you know? Okay, it can't be used in very many decks because you would have to build a deck that can make level 5 synchros, but any deck that can make level 5 synchros is blessed by this card. And this box needs an S tier. I can't think of any other card in this box that would be S tier. We have to give them something. We have to give them something. Okay, so let's move on to the next card. The next card in the box is Armory Arm. I'm pretty sure you say use this in the anime, I think, right? One tuner, one non-tuner. So again, it's a generic level 4. Once per turn, you can either target one monster on the field and equip this card. Wow, that's crazy. Or unequip this card and special summon it in attack position. While a monster is equipped to this card, that target gains 1000 attack. Wow. If that target destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster in the graveyard. So that's obviously going to be half of the attack. This card is ass. Well, no, it's not that bad, but it's definitely not good. It's definitely, because like, first of all, it's a level 4 tune. It's a level 4 synchro. That's not common. It's not common to make level 4. I don't think I have a single level 4 synchro in any deck that I have. Right? I don't think I have any decks that can make a level 4 synchro. I don't. This card's effect is it's not bad, but it's not good, but no one can make it, so I think this is a C tier. I think that this is a C tier. This should have been a free card. This should have been a free card. It feels like we're regressing here. Honestly, I wish we focused. I want us to focus more on XYZs. We're in the XYZ era. Why are we still getting mid? And I mean mid synchro cards. I get it, because synchro cards, the synchro summoning as a mechanic, I guess still needs a degree of support, but I don't like synchro summoning, so I don't want it. I'm thinking of me here. Think of me. Let's move on to the next card. We have actually a card that seems somewhat decent. Crimson Resonator. This is another anime card. This card, it's a tuner. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is already beautiful, right? If the only other monster you control is exactly one Dark Dragon Synchro monster, you can special summon up to 2 Resonator monsters from your hand or deck. That doesn't make sense. Hold on. Because if you have this monster on the field and another monster on the field, you only have 1 monster zone left. So I guess maybe that's a TCG thing. Except Crimson Resonator, you can only use each effect of Crimson Resonator once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Dark Dragon Synchros. Okay, that's fair enough. See, here's the thing about this card, right? You can still, even though you can't get the 2 monsters out like its effect says, you can search out the deck for another tuner monster. I think that this card is good. I actually like this card a lot. I'm sure they want us to use it to bring out the Synchro monster in this box. I'm not gonna use it for that, but it could be used for something else. So that's decent, I think that's decent. This card, in my opinion, is B tier. I feel like this is B tier. I feel like this is a B tier card because like it does what it's, even though it needs to be eroded to get the right effect, but like it does what it's supposed to do. I feel like it can special summon itself from the hand, which is already great. The only reason it's in B tier is because the archetype that it's supposed to support isn't great, but apparently it's getting even more support in this box, so maybe we'll reevaluate this one as we move on. But currently, in my opinion, I would put that in B tier 100%, right? So up next we have how do you say that? How do you say that word? Fortissimo the Mobile Fortress. Okay, Fortissimo the Mobile Fortress. Once per turn, you can special summon 1 Mech Lord army monster from your hand. It's a field spell. I hate this. The Mobile Fortress, for the fact that it's a field spell, it already starts in C tier at best, because field spells, unless it's a searchable field spell that does something absolutely crazy, I'm not a big fan of field spells because it's usually just losing card advantage a lot of the time anyway. You can special summon a Merc Lord army. If this said that you could special summon a Merc Lord card from your deck, this would be a good card because then you're not minusing. But what this card is effectively doing is you activate this card and then you get you get a special summon, which is decent, but you're running low on card resources. I don't see how this deck will maintain its card advantage with cards like this as its support. This is an SR card, right? This is an SR card. I want to put this in C tier because it is a special summon, but it's not a special summon. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's not doing anything crazy. Field spells, exactly. Field spells can be extremely bricky as well. I don't like it. That card translates to very low. I don't know what that means. McDonald's ketchup is the best. Word, I guess. Without having a skill for your field spell, it's very bricky to use field spells in this game, so I don't like it. The only field spells that aren't bricks are Gates of the Dark World and Fire King. Exactly, Fire Kings have a great field spell because it's giving them that card advantage and triggering them their effects, and they're searching their deck out. That's a good card. This is C tier at best. I don't want to be too hard on it and put it in D tier, so I will put it in C tier for now, and we can come back to it potentially, right? So up next we have Merc Lord Emperor Weasel, this guy, I guess. You have a weird name anyway. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Okay, must be special summoned by its own effect. That sounds stupid. When a face-up monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Other monsters you control cannot declare an attack. Once per turn, you can target 1 synchro monster your opponent controls, equip that target to this card. This card gains attack equal to the combined attack of all the monsters equipped to it by this effect. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell card quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy. Okay. So it saved itself they had us in the first half. The second half of that effect actually wasn't that bad. The second half of that effect was not that bad, right? So if your monster gets destroyed, and it doesn't say by card effect, does it? No, it says when a face-up monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. It's the second half is actually decent. Negating spell effects. Negating spells and destroying them without having a discard cost is really, really good. And I guess yoinking synchro monsters, that could be good against, I don't know, maybe Blue Eyes or something. I don't know. Some harpies, I guess. That would be nice. But you have to be destroyed by it. If it was battle or card effect, that would be so much better. Desperado was battle or card effect, so there was no way to really play around them unless you remove them from the field. With this, you can remove it from the field or just crash into it and you're good to go. So because of how I like its secondary effect, don't get me wrong, but because of how hard it is to actually get it on the field, I think I want this in B tier. I feel like this is B tier. It would be an A tier if not for the requirement to get it on the field, but that requirement is something hefty. You know what I mean? What do y'all think? Let me read up on the chat. What do y'all think? Desperado. Okay, so yeah, you guys are comparing it to Desperado. A tier. Nick says A tier. Throwing 2 or 3 of these in my Desperado. Yeah. Oh, right, it's not cards. So if any of your cards are destroyed by a card effect, then you can summon this card. If any of your cards are summoned by a card effect, or are destroyed by a card effect. So not just monsters of its own archetype. So fair enough. That does make sense, but I don't like it still. Merklord have cards that destroy their own stuff. Oh, they do? Oh, but they didn't give it to us? Okay, so that means, yeah, we don't really get to use that then. C tier, you will use Ballista Squad for this. B at most. I say B as well. You have to remember, it can be any card effect. This you think it's broken? Okay, so Shambo and Logic think it's good, right? At this point with Ballista Squad and Blue Eyes and Draw Power, then it's a B. See, here's the thing, right? Because if you have to destroy, so if we got the cards in its archetype that destroyed it with their own card effects, that destroyed your cards with their own card effects, that would be nice. I can see this going very well in maybe Fire Kings, where the whole point is to destroy your own monsters. I could see something like that, because if it's any of your monsters, right? If any of your monsters are just, yeah, when a face-up monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, so Fire Kings would love that, right? It seems busted if you can trigger the destruction, but if you're relying on your opponent to trigger the destruction, then that's not good, which means that you might have to use like a Raigeki break. Ballista Squad wouldn't work. It has to be destroyed by a card effect, so using Ballista Squad wouldn't actually work with this card, because your monster has to be destroyed, not tributed, right? So I don't really like it. Think of it as a hand trap. Fair enough, right? It's not trash. It's just not exactly. It's not trash. It's definitely not trash. It's a hand trap, right? Why is that one kid in S? Because it counters everything. I really, really like that card. It countered everything. You won't even make it to battle, but he'd be rid of before then. Yeah, but like, he's still better than everything else in here. I feel like he's better than everything else in here. I'll keep it $150, right? Because he can counter anything. If you're able to prevent the back row from being an issue. So MST, Cosmic Cyclone, this card will then handle any monster you need it to handle. Twin Burst Dragon, dead. Blue Eyes cards, dead. Everything is dead now, right? Most of the time versus any deck but Harpies, enemies pop cards before they go into the battle phase. I mean, that's true, but like, I'm gonna try to deal with it before we get there, right? No deck that can run the level 5 synchros are good enough. No, but see, here's the thing. If you're running it in 6 Samurais, for instance, so you guys are making me reconsider my choices, right? Because I like its effect, but you are right in saying that not many decks can actually make it. Not many decks can actually make this card. Castor was number 4, right? Castor was number 4 if I'm not mistaken. Not many decks can actually make this card, which makes me feel like we should bring it down to A. You guys made me sad. I actually really liked that card. But fair enough. Merklord Wizel, we can put him in B tier, right? I'm okay with him being in B tier. Let's keep it moving. Up next, we have a card that I really, really hate. I really, really hate this card. I really, really, really hate this card. And when I say I mean I really hate this card. This is Old Entity Cthulhu, or however the hell you say it. This card is good. I think this card is decent, or I think it's decent at the very least. 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner, which means it's a generic rank, a generic level 4. Not many decks make level 4 monsters, but still, if this card is synchro summoned, you can return all rank 4 XYZ monsters on the field to the extra deck. So non-targeted field wipe of XYZ monsters, right? That is just as it hits the field, that's what happens. I love XYZs and I hate synchro, so I don't like it, but I don't like it because that's a good effect. Right? then, but see, here's the thing, and this card isn't supposed to be fought with. You're not supposed to fight with this card, because if you fusion summon or XYZ summon a card using this card, then that monster gets the effect of letting you draw one card. So this is literally just a board wipe, and then you extend your plays off of it. This card is amazing. I hate this card. It belongs in S tier in my opinion. This card belongs in S tier in my opinion. No more XYZ, Pog. You love to see it. Sam says S, okay, a decent card, A tier. You legit think only level deck can run that? See, here's the thing, C or B, Nick says. Okay, Nick, give us your reasons for C or B, right? Give us a reason. Laval is the only deck you can summon this in, then you summon another level 4 and go into level 4 Pyro Monster. That makes sense. That makes sense, right? That makes sense in my opinion. So everything about this card is amazing, but it has the same problem in my opinion as Castor did. It has the same problem as Castor in the sense that even though it has an amazing, in my opinion, this has an amazing effect, but none of the decks who can make it. Who makes level 4 synchros? Who can make a level 4 synchro, right? So for its effect, right, you'll be using Fire Reloaded as a skill also. Okay, so fair enough. Groovy on iPad says C. So I'm seeing some C's, I'm seeing some B's, I'm seeing some S's, and I'm seeing some A's. We're very torn. Can a mod in chat run a poll? Can we run a poll to see what you guys think? Because I'm open. I'm open to S, I'm open to A. I don't think it deserves C. I'd be willing to accept B. Can we get a poll? Right, so currently B is in the lead. We have 4 votes for B, 1 vote for A, 2 votes for S, 2 votes for C. I think I'm also going to vote S. I'm also going to vote S, right? I'm also going to vote S, and so let's see where it lands in the next few seconds, right? We'll see where it lands in the next few seconds and go based off of that. It won't see play, you say? Okay, it won't be meta B. The poll landed on B. The poll landed on B. God damn. All right, so B tier, but I think it's a high B. I think it's it's not better than Red Resonator. I'll put this in mid B. I'll put this in mid B. I feel like that's fair. I feel like mid B is a fair place to put it. So what's the next card we have? Resonator Call. All right, so Resonator Call is the next card up. I have no idea what this card does. I do not know what this card does, right? So let's find out. Oh, it's very short in text. Okay, add 1 Resonator monster from your deck to your hand. So it's a search. It's just a pure search. It's just a pure search, and I like that. I like that quite a bit. It's an S in any card that searches it is an S. Okay, Groovy says B max, so I see 2 S's, I see 1 B, not once per turn. Oh, it's not once per turn, 3 S's, an A, B, or C. Okay, we have A's. Any deck you can search a combo. Okay. It's an S, another S, same rank as Resonator. You say, okay, you guys are crazy. Yeah, you guys are really arguing about this. Resonators don't need the search. Okay, yes they do. They need the search. Tanky for Resonators. That's true, and it's not once per turn. Unlike Tanky, fair enough. It searches every card they run. Okay, I'm seeing a lot more S's. I see 1 F, but I feel like I've seen more S's. I don't know anything about this deck or this archetype, right? So this one I had to leave to you guys. I definitely saw the majority in favor of S though. I saw a lot more S's than I saw anything else, and I do agree. The fact that it's a search cards are good right off of that. The archetype that it's searching for might not be a good archetype, but it's more so about the utility that it provides within its own archetype. It's providing a great degree of value within its own archetype. I'm seeing, I am Kev says A or B. We see an A+ from Virgil. Okay, it's not OP. B. I don't think S tier needs to be OP. It just needs to be strong enough to be viable for its own archetype, you know? Absolute minimum A tier, but yeah, S tier, another S. You love to see it. Okay, so let's keep it moving. And get the next card. The next card up is Stardust Wish. Okay, so this is a trap card. It says once per turn, if a Stardust synchro monster you control is tributed, if a Stardust monster you control is tributed to activate its own effect, okay, you can target that monster and special summon it. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this. Monster special summoned by this effect cannot be destroyed by battle while in attack. It's a continuous trap. Okay, so that is not great to me. I'll be honest with you. That's not. I've heard theories that we might be getting a Stardust structure deck, which I'm neither here nor there for. But like this in and of itself doesn't sound great to me. This really doesn't sound great to me. Like the traps are already bad in Duel Links. I somewhat agree, right? This really is a synchro mini box, right? A or B might be good. See, my problem with it is. Okay, so here's what I think the issue is, right? Because the Stardust cards will tribute themselves to negate an effect that should destroy a monster, if I'm not mistaken, and then come back on the next turn. So this basically just speeds up what they do, and it's continuous. within its own archetype, I can see this being B. I don't think that's a good strategy overall, but I can see that being useful to an extent. It feels like a C tier in my heart of hearts. It feels like a high C in my heart of hearts, right? But I can see why a Stardust player would like it. It's not like it's a search. It's not like, but it's not really gaining you card advantage, but it's gaining you board presence, whereas you would have lost it anyway. The problem with the ability of the synchro monsters to tribute themselves is they tribute themselves, isn't it when they're targeted and they would be destroyed by a card effect? That doesn't stop Karma Cut, which means their effect is useless against cards like Karma Cut, which means this card is also useless against cards like Karma Cut, which is, I think that's why in my heart of hearts, I'm not a fan of it. I think that's probably why I don't like it, because it's only really for protection, right? It's only really for protection. It gives you 2 negates with Stardust, the easy C to B, fair enough. MST does counter it, I agree, right? True, and you already have to have Stardust out to use it. Nah, I want to give this a high C. Nick, I can see why you would put it higher, but personally, this feels like a high C to me. I'd be willing to put this at the top of C, but I don't think I'd be willing to give it B tier, because even within its own archetype, because for instance, in the case of a card like the Resonator card, right? In the case of a card like this, whereby you don't, before you even start your plays, it's getting you advantage. Meanwhile, this card will only gain you advantage in a situation whereby you've already made your play and not been like Karma Cut or something, right? So I that's a high C, I think. That's a high C in my opinion. You have to waste 2 resources to have Stardust on board, and the enemy has to true, and the enemy has to so it's not even it's not something that you can trigger on your own. Your enemy has to play into you for this card to be useful in any situation. It's a win more card. I can agree with that. So Stardust Wish will go in high C, right? All right, so up next we have tuning, right? Add 1 Synchron tuner from your deck to your hand, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This, again, as a search card, sounds good to me. It sounds good to me. I don't synchro summon. I don't like synchro summoning, but even I can recognize the value of a card that will search out your deck for you with no cost, and then mill a card to the graveyard, which will potentially allow you to gain a benefit off. Because I know synchrons can use cards in their graveyard to their advantage, so that's actually not bad in the slightest. I'm willing to give this an A card. Searching cards in Duel Links, because in Duel Links you can run a 20 card deck. So let's say there's a card that you want, and you have a search card for it. You run the card that you want as 3. A search card basically lets you run that card or any other card in your deck at 6 copies, which in a 20 card deck is wild already, right? It's a search with no real cost, effectively. So I quite like that card. I quite like that. I'm willing to put that in S tier. S. Okay, everyone's saying S. Now we have the last SR card in the box, which is this weird doggo thing. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 tuner from your hand or graveyard, but it has its effects negated. I think this card is what's supposed to be used in order to summon out, what's this guy called again? Red Nova Dragon, right? Because this card needs 2 tuner monsters. Other than that, I can't see when you would need this. I don't know when you would need 2 tuners on the field, right? However, Yoko Tuner is a level 1 tuner, which maybe makes level 4 synchros and level 5 synchros a bit more viable, right? But like, I don't know about this. I don't really know about this one. Low B at best. This sounds C tier in my opinion. Summon Stone to use it again. You've made a good point. However, my counterpoint to that is I cannot see any Blue Eyes player in their right mind using Yoko Tuner in their deck when they're trying to build it as tightly as they do, right? A Blue Eyes deck has to be built so tightly. I would just run Sage to use Stone. The means by which they're using Stone currently and using their normal summon with Sage is already working for them. I don't think they need this. I don't think they want this, right? I don't think they want this. This is D tier. This is D tier in my opinion. It's going to be a toolbox card. I can see that. I can see it being a toolbox card, but the question about a toolbox card is what archetype wants to use it as one of their tools? Where is it going to be used as a tool is my biggest question, right? So I don't love that, okay? So now we have the rare cards in the box. I haven't looked at a single rare card. In the box as of yet. Let's see what the first one is. Right? Ooh, Nick is right. Hold on. He is a cute puppy. He is on. I was too hard on you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put you in C tier. He's a cute puppy. You can't. That's animal abuse, yo. You're low C. You're a low C. We're moving on. We're moving on. Thank you for that recommendation. You are correct. You are correct, good sir. Right? What about Christians? What about Christians? They're dead. They're dead. Right? Okay, so Bird of Paradise Lost, right? This card gains 100 attack for each tuner monster in your graveyard. Once per turn, you can send one tuner monster from your hand to the graveyard. Then target a monster your opponent controls. Take control of it. Oh! This is a yoink. This is a yoink, but it's a level 8 monster that doesn't have a means to be special summoned. That doesn't have a means to be special summoned. I don't know where this goes. I don't know who wants their tuners in the graveyard so bad that they would they would give up 2 tributes to summon this card. So despite having a somewhat interesting effect, despite being somewhat interesting to look at, D tier, F tier. Jeez, we don't even have an F tier. Jesus, D tier. We don't have an F, and I'm too lazy to make a new tier just to put this card in it. But I'm willing to under D tier, low D, low D. This is another Resonator card, Chain Resonator. When this card is normal summoned while a synchro monster is on the field, you can special summon one Resonator monster from your deck. Hey, yo, that sounds great. That sounds freaking great. That's just a free synchro summon. That's a free synchro summon. Hey, yo, come on now. Come on now. Easy to combo with. That's an A tier. Come on now. I mean, I say 8 because you have to normal summon. If it could be special summon when you control a synchro, that's crazy. But this is just an extender. So let's say you special summoned using the red one, whatever. What number was the red one? The red one was, okay, yeah, Crimson. Let's say you special summon using Crimson, right? Crimson special summons itself out. You start making your plays and everything. You do what you do. And then when you're done with all of that, if you still have a normal summon available, you extend your plays with this. This is a great extender. This is a great extender in my opinion. Oh yeah, this box is ass, but we have to do the best we can with what we have, right? We have to make the best, we have to make do with what we have. I'm actually very glad. I'm actually very glad that this box is bad because it means that I don't have to make content on anything in this box. I don't have to spend money on this box, and I can focus on the content that I was supposed to be making since the last box and the last banlist hit. So I'm actually very, very happy about that. All right, let's keep it moving. Mechlord Army of Granel. Mechlord Army of Granel. So this is a Mechlord support, right? Gains 100 attack for each Mechlord monster on the field except this card. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Have that target's attack until the end of this turn. So it halves your opponent's attack. Not terrible, not terrible. Gains 100 attack for each Mechlord. That's not bad, I guess. So it's just having your opponent's attack with that. That's the only real meaningful effect. It's a generic. It gets over 3,200 and it's a level 4, so it can be normal summoned. I can give this. Can I give this a low B? Because cutting an opponent's attack in half can be quite useful in a lot of situations. But it's not crazy. I wouldn't say it's definitely not on the level of this. It's not on the level of Resonator. Nah, I think it has to go high C. Not even the top. Is it top of C? I think it has to go high C. I can't imagine it being anywhere else. I can't imagine putting that card anywhere else, right? Because it's definitely not on the level of like Red Resonator and all of these other cards that we have in B tier. So it has to go in C tier. That has to, because that wouldn't be fair. That wouldn't be kosher. That would be biased. So up next we have Mechlord Army of Sekel. Gains 200 attack. So do all of them just gain attack for all of the monsters on the field? Okay. Except this card. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Mechlord Army monster from your deck. Garbage. That's absolute garbage. That is absolute garbage. It has to be destroyed by battle specifically. No, I refuse. Is that even bottom of C tier? I think that might be top of D tier. That feels like top of D tier to me. That's not good. Up next is Mechlord Army of Weisel. Okay. Gains 100 attack for each Mechlord monster on the field except this card. Once per turn, when another Mechlord monster you control declares an attack on a defense position monster, you can activate this effect during that battle. If it attacks the defense position, inflict piercing damage. You know what? I don't want to talk about it anymore. F. We're done talking about that card now. We're done talking about that card. It's gone. Pretend it never existed. Pretend that card never even existed, okay? All Mechlord cards left are F tier. All right, what does this say? Mechlord Fort is another field spell. Oh no. Neither player can target Mechlord Emperor monsters you control with synchro monster effects. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the grave, I'm not even reading the rest of this. This is a waste of my time. That card is okay. I think I understand what you meant when you said the Mechlor cards are a waste, are all left here. I don't think the rest of them deserve to be read. I don't think the rest. Oh wait, are there any more? Are there? Okay, no, the rest are Morph. Wait, we have Morphtronic support in this box. Okay, all right, Morphtronics. Let's see what you're saying. Let's see what you're saying. Right, there's only a few cards left in the box anyway. Right, Morphtronic Borden. Right. While in attack position, Morphtronic monsters you control can attack your opponent directly. While in defense position, other Morphtronic monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. That's actually decent. That's actually kind of decent. I feel like Morphtronic's kind of like that. I'm willing to, because I don't know much about Morphtronics. Attacking directly and protecting your friends from being destroyed by battle seems decent, but you can't be special summon. You take up a normal summon, which I feel like the effect is decent enough, but I feel like only being able to do what you do kind of puts you in C tier in my opinion. Just in my opinion. Morph decks never actually have morph monsters on the board. It's a synchro summon deck. Oh, I feel bad. I feel like I would hurt its feelings if I moved it down after that. We can leave him where he is and just pretend that it's fine, right? Morphtronic Boomboxing. While this card is in attack position, it can attack twice per turn. Okay, but you only have 1,200 attack, so I don't know what you're talking about. Defense position. When a face-up Morphtronic monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack. So it negates attacks, but it only has 400 defense. And you've just pointed out to me that these cards are only used for synchro summon, so you hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see it. This one in particular, because that double attack thing is useless because it has mid attack. The defense position effect isn't really relevant because you would have to normal summon an attack and then make it to the next turn to put it in defense, unless they have some cards to support them in that regard. But I feel like using those cards to support this card would be a waste. I don't like it. Okay, so next we have Morphtronic Clockin. Morphtronic Clockin, what say you, good sir? What say you, good sir? While in attack position, this card gains 500 attack for each morph counter on it. It has counters, that's not good. While in defense position, once per turn, you can place one morph counter on this card. You contribute this card to inflict 1,000, it's gonna be 500 to your opponent for each morph counter on it. Clockin sounds interesting, right? It sounds interesting, but I don't know. I don't know about this one, Chief. I'm not really a fan. I'll keep it a $1.50 with you. I'll keep it a $1 with you. Clockin is used in stall decks. Oh, in stall decks. Okay. I can see how it would be used. I can see how it's intended to be used, but whether or not it will be able to be used in that way is debatable, right? I can give this a mid B. A mid C rather. I can give that a mid C. A mid C is okay in my books. Okay, so up next we have Morphtronic Maggin. While in attack position, if your opponent controls a face-up monster, this card can only select their highest attack monsters and attack. That sounds like a detriment. Wait, what? That sounds like a detriment to you. While in defense position, your opponent cannot select another monster as an attack target. Bad, just straight up bad. This card is just straight up bad. This card is just straight up bad, yo. Okay, so the Morphtronics are really letting me down here. I really thought they would be a little bit spicy. I wanted some spice. I wanted some spice on their fit, and it feels bad, right? You're hearing a lot of trash right now, same, and it feels, it hurts. I'm sorry I'm making you sit through this. All right, so let's check out Power Break. What does Power Break say? Activate only while you control a face-up Power Tool Dragon. Select up to 3 equipped cards on your side of the field and or in your graveyard and return them to the, Select up to 3 equipped cards on your side of the field or in your graveyard, return them into the deck, and inflict 500 to your opponent for each one returned. That sounds fun. That sounds fun. That doesn't necessarily sound consistent, and I'm pretty sure that if that damage number doesn't get nerfed, I would say that this card is a B tier. But this card the damage is going to be 250, not 500. It's going to be 250, not 500. Equipment restock and Power Tool Dragon might be okay. I can see how that would work. I can see how that would work, and help you almost do like 1k burn damage if it's 250. But see, here's the thing, I feel like rather than running this card at 3 in that situation, I feel like there are other cards that you could run instead that would be more beneficial to your deck, rather than just doing what would amount to potentially 750 damage per turn, right? I feel like you would rather just clear your opponent's board with something else, or do something else to progress your strategy rather than extend, because this sounds like an extending card, right? You extend and get that little bit extra damage, but I would rather add to the overall strategy instead, right? I know they search out equips, it'll be consistent, but being consistent doesn't make you good. You can be consistently trash. Remember that, kids. You can be consistently trash. Okay, you know what? I'll put it in low B. I'll put it in low B because even though I personally still don't like it, but you guys seem passionate about its value, and I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to accept that. This can be a low B, right? This can be, oh, that's C tier. Hold on. Yeah, because you're saying that this is on the same level as red as red. Can I do that for you? Do I love you that much to say that this is on the same level as this? Because 750 damage a turn. No, I don't think I do. That's blasphemy. If a level 8 or higher dragon synchro monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand, okay? You can only special summon Red Nova once per turn this way. If this card is sent to the graveyard for a synchro summon that uses 2 or more tuner monsters as material, you can special summon 1 Fire Fiend monster from your deck in defense position. So this is supposed to go with a Red Dragon Archfiend. This is supposed to be an RDA card. Within its own archetype, right? Within its own archetype, and it's a tuner, it's a level 1 tuner. Within its own archetype, that sounds good, I'm not gonna lie. Within its own archetype, that sounds good. That sounds pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie to you, within its own archetype. But I don't like the card that it's supposed to be used to summon, but this card itself, I'm willing to give B at least. I'm willing to give B. I'm willing to put this in B. And then the last card in the box is, well, the last R card in the box. We still have normal cards in the box, but I don't care for those. All attack position, oh, it's a Mech Lord card. I'm not reading this. Nope, you go in D. The Mech Lords have upset me. They don't get to be happy. If I don't get to be happy, surely they don't either, right? Okay, so that's the tier list, boys and girls. That's a tier list, ladies and gentlemen. I think we did it. It only took us, how long did that take us to get through? How long did it take us to get through that? It only took us an hour and 16 minutes to do it, but we done it, right? I'm happy with how this looks. This tier list is very, very, very bottom heavy, and I think that says a lot about what this box is going to be. It's going to be a lot of garbage. Like, I don't think it's worth it to go through this box to get, there are only 2 S tier cards and 2 A tier cards, and everything else is B or lower. I do not think it's worth it to go into this box just to get those 4 cards. And those 4 cards don't all work together, mind you. They're all up there for different reasons, right? I'm not here for it. So yeah. But for now, this is mid. I'm not investing in this box. You probably shouldn't either. And yeah, so this is where the YouTube section of everything ends. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for no other reason other than the fact that it benefits my growth. I'm really bad at outros. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. So let's show some love and head over there. I will see you guys all tomorrow in the actuals. Thank you, AR Andretti, XYZ over Synchro. Speak the truth and shame the devil, right? Yeah.